tight and bony, hard to notice, a mosquito on the wall at noon. 20 minutes later, she finally arrived at the bus stop and took a matatu home. She looked around to ascertain it was safe before she took out her phone. She scrolled down her contact list to vet suitable replacements for Owen. She wanted to see how it would feel to replace him, so she typed a text meant for the 3 men whose advances she had turned down while she was with him. Hi there, long time, what's new? This was exciting. Then she looked at the message. What was she doing? This was stupid.
Didn't help her. Do you want to speak a little bit about that, how it affects the women in our society? Maybe specifically about the Northern, but generally about you follow the rules, but they don't help you. Assassinations. It was assassinations. It was, but you know when people die in plane crashes, in helicopter crashes. Am I being weird, by the way? They died. Yeah, but it was a big incident, and it's something I've personally noticed with the fiction that's been coming in the last couple of years, where we are starting to incorporate a bit of that, where we are actually incorporating news, like things that actually happened. And I want to see if you can speak to that. Why did you want to do that?
I think it was a big incident, not just for the people of Marsabit, but especially for the people of Marsabit. There's always tribal clashes in the north about one thing or another, and these politicians had decided to show up together this one time to talk to their people, to ask them to unite, and that was the purpose of their taking this journey, but they did not make it. And the plane crashed, and they all died, and for a couple of months we were a united people. We were peaceful, we almost loved each other and cared, and then we were back to being ourselves in that way. And so it's also metaphorical in a sense that these people were coming to unite the people, but then did not get a chance to have that conversation with them or to hold that dialogue. And so then in a sense, I wonder, are we never going to be peaceful? And there's a lot of politics at the root of it, other than the tribalism, which is also political in a way. And so I figured centering the story around that incident was not just a memory of this thing that happened, but also what it represented, the loss of that conversation we never got to have, what we never got to hear. Would it have changed anything had they spoken to their people? Because we also believe that these same politicians are the ones that are propagating most of these violences. But would it have been different than had these people spoken to their people? Because they are the people we listen to. And it was important for that reason, and also just for recording something in history that was really tragic.
Well, your wallflower done turned into the little shop of horrors.
I am not asking my Kimmy to curb her brigands to accommodate your friends' insecurities.
Give me that ring back. Give me the ring. Give me the ring. Give it to me.
I told you I'll play like that. Leave me alone.
Your Highness, you may take it to the...
There it goes. Then I can put my minutes. It's 220 or 200 thereabouts. Then I can put it to 45 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.